Hi, thanks for tuning in. My name's Hussein, and I've just come out of my weekly Narcotics Anonymous meeting, and I have a habit of making these videos. I It's a Sunday, by the way, for what that's worth, and this is good old Torontopia. This is Toronto, and it's too nice a day, right? I wasn't going to make a video, but it's such a gorgeous day. It's the 1st of November. It may be the 2nd of November. Actually, it's the 2nd of November. We just changed time back. Like we got an hour today. This is the Royal Ontario Museum, right? For what that's worth. And we're just past. This is Bloor Street, one of the busy roads here in Toronto. And we just passed Yonge and Bay Street, things like this. I don't come through this part of town that often. I thought I would come through here on my daily bike ride. I'm trying to show you my day one key tag. So about 4 months ago, I was released from jail. I have cannabis use disorder. And believe it or not, smoking weed has destroyed my life. This is the 1 day key tag. So when you go to NA, like if you're just coming off of a relapse or if that's your first day, etc. So I'm up to 60 days now. I'm very proud of these key tags. This is the 30-day key tag. Okay. Okay, and yeah, it's actually orange. It looks white. It's really sunny. This is the whole thing. I wasn't going to make a video today. I didn't make one last week. And clean and serene for 30 days. This is the green one is 60 days, clean and serene for 60 days. And in a couple of weeks, I'll have 90 days. But I thought I would take you on now that I have these beautiful Skull Candy Bluetooth headphones with a built-in mic. I've been experimenting as a sales consultant, calling clients and things like this. I've been experimenting with this phone and this built-in mic. It seems to work really well. The mic is actually built right into the earpiece here, and so I'm assuming that the sound transmits through your skull and things like this. Anyway, I wanted to basically make a video talking about the essential ingredient to recovery. And I've made other videos about this very same thing. And what it all boils down to is that life is so beautiful. This is the whole thing. And drugs crowd that thing over. So for 12 years, 15 years, like I smoked weed for the first time at university. And it triggered a manic reaction. I was diagnosed bipolar. Eventually, I started acting out, acting crazy. Eventually ended up getting into fights, breaking stuff, going to jail. This last time I set fire to a jacket. And I spent 18 months in jail. A very sobering experience, pun intended. And so, yeah, the whole purpose of this talk and my talks about recovery is that life is so beautiful. Like the sunshine and people and birds and the sky and trees and beautiful Toronto. And being in jail for 18 months, you actually have a great opportunity to learn to appreciate the value of things. It's like my beautiful wife says, it was her email signature for the longest time, right? Which is, you only know the value of something once you lose it. So after sitting inside a jail cell for 18 months, basically, we're allowed outside of our jail cells for 6 to 8 hours a day, most days. But for 6 months, I was actually in solitary confinement. And so I actually was not outside of my cell for 6 or 8 hours or anything remotely like this. It might have been 1 or 2 hours on most days, this kind of thing. So then coming out, like we like to say in jail, or I would say, and people would nod their head and agree, that if you could, like the freedom buzz, right? The feeling that you have when you've been in jail for more than a week, right? Even a day, frankly. A day in jail is too hard. But you go to jail for a week. This is already too long, by the way. And then weeks, and then months, and then a year, and 18 months. I hope you understand, if you've never been to jail, like I hope you're thinking, well, this is a lot. Of course, he's right. You know, it's not that easy. And so the feeling that you get when you get out of jail, there's no drug or there's no high or whatever, like the ultimate job or the ultimate girlfriend or whatever kind of thrill, the ultimate golf score or whatever that is, you can't like top the feeling of just life. This is the whole point of this video, the feeling of just life and the birds flying through the air. So we're coming up on Spadina and Bloor, and like our premier, the premier of Ontario right now, the head of the Ontario government, the province of Ontario, where the city of Toronto resides. Well, this guy basically he's campaigning to get these bike lanes removed, right? And so anyway, for what that's worth, and then today obviously is the day after the Jays lost their historic Game 7 game to the LA Dodgers. And so there's a lot of glumness in the air. But again, when you've been deprived of everything, which is eventually what drugs will do, you'll end up in the gutter. I mean, I simply had a weed problem, right? But it triggers a manic reaction, and I tell people that weed is like a hard drug for me. I did end up on the street. I did end up sleeping in stairwells and on park benches or just basically anywhere, these kinds of things, acting out, acting crazy, mental health issues, got into serious fights with and without weapons, could have died on a number of occasions, the usual, right? So what that ends up in is, like they say in the meetings, is jails, death, or nice dog, by the way. So what that ends up with is jails, death, or institutions, right? I basically, again, you're just, the more you use, the less you appreciate life. It's just like, in order to enjoy life, you need to face your feelings. You need to meditate or think about things in whatever shape and form. If you know you need to do something, you should do it. Things like this. And you got to be truthful and honest about it, right? And so there's work involved. By the way, let me just say that you may be familiar with Narcotics Anonymous and the 12-step program, and you may have some reservations and things like this. I've been going to these meetings for like coming up on 90 days now, and all I can tell you is that it really has, for some reason, somehow it's changed my life. When I got out of jail, I was saying the original feeling that you have is so amazing that if you could just bottle that feeling, that would be the ultimate high, right? And that's the kind of thing we say to each other when we're in jail. And of course, there's the usual declarations of, oh, I'm gonna be a good guy, and I'm not gonna do this, and I'm not gonna do that. And I found myself in a very good place in jail after over a decade of chronic depression, chronic anxiety, largely precipitated by pharmaceutical medication, dare I say, right? Because, again, I'm fine and normal unless I smoke weed. When I start smoking weed, this is when I start acting out, and it's not even an immediate reaction. I'll smoke weed for, talking of which, there's another dispensary, right? So I'm grateful to these meetings, right? Because what I wanted to say is, don't worry about the 12 steps at all. I just got a sponsor today after like 90 days, right? And I haven't worked the steps. I couldn't even quote all the steps to you. I'm pretty familiar with them and well versed, but I haven't been working the steps, so to speak. My whole thing is that it's the inspiration from the people I meet there. So again, what I'm learning and what they talk about and what we're trying to do is learn to like yourself again. Learn to love yourself, or whatever that is. I shy away from the term love yourself. just because it, self-love and slash self-admiration, that's just another topic. I mean, it's easy to get caught into I believe, like a state of mind of some kind of conceit or something like this. But at the same time, you must be at peace with who you are and these kinds of things. It's almost like you're watching yourself, right? And then you always want to improve, right? So you're not self-satisfied, let's just put it that way. So in these meetings, we talk about just loving life again, learning to be happy again, learning to enjoy the normal things in this world. So that's basically all I'm trying to say here, right? So step number one in this program is that you realize that you can't do it alone, right? As a Muslim married to a Christian, I give all the glory to God, and that's exactly what I found in these meetings. And I found myself in a beautiful place in jail. After many years, I was able to overcome my depression and anxiety. I had what I more or less consider a complete personal transformation. I've written about this extensively, so you can check out my Medium or Substack profile in the links below. And I'd love to hear from you if any of this resonates. But the main thing and the main goal for a person such as myself, who's basically now middle-aged, is just to learn how to appreciate life, just to learn how to make the most of your day, make the most of the moment, make the most of this time, these kinds of things, and appreciate how amazing it is. And the fact that if you're not like in pain, or if there's no catastrophic life events occurring in your life right now, like someone dying or accidents or like terminal illness or chronic pain or things like this, or like you just lost your job, let's say, this is a hard one, or you broke up with your wife of 20 years or whatever. These are hard things, right? Anyway, I feel like I'm going in circles here, and frankly I don't even know where I am right now. So I have a habit, but of course, my good man, there you go, my friend, nicely done there. I gotta tell you, like I try to exude love and happiness and patience, but these delivery guys, they're all from like East Asia, like myself, and yeah, what are you gonna say, right? Like, they're all over the place. It's just like the taxi drivers of yesteryear. So yeah, I have no idea what this thing is here. It looks like it is in fact a tiger. It's beautiful, and I've never stopped here before. Like, I'm familiar with this park. This is Christie and Bloor, and so I'm just gonna sit here and wrap up some thoughts and things like this. So now I might as well say that I was talking about personal transformation in jail, and then I was talking about God and your higher power, or whatever you want to call it. My wife's a Christian, I'm a Muslim. We are devout people, we believe in God. The ultimate peace and happiness, I would have to say to you, is basically when you feel connected to God. This is more or less the same as when you say you feel connected with the universe at large, or you're plugged in, or when you meditate and then you get plugged into the source, or you feel a deep sense of this higher intelligence and infinite love and these kinds of things. It's all the same thing. The Quran says that وَلَوْ نَشَاءُ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً